Hello and welcome to Game 1 of this Group E losers match between Team Cheesecake and Team Willowkeeper. This is of course the second stage of the groups. Both of these teams made it past the first stage where we had 4 teams per group and 4 groups. Here we have 4 teams per group and 2 groups. So we produced 4 teams out of 16 and here we're going to produce 4 teams out of 8. Sorry, we produced 8 teams out of 16 and here we're going to produce 4 teams out of 8. So whittling it down every single time, and both of these teams got knocked down in their respective matches, TCC by Denial Esports and Tree by Twisted Fusion, who've been playing very, very well in this second stage. They came out with the high seed in their own group, and they've really taken that and run. So good for them. Didn't have the best showing in Diamond Cycle 10, and one of those teams that's been bouncing back and forth, but found some footing here because they've been able to take down some pretty impressive teams. I believe they beat No Keyboard and came out really in a group with the high seed that they certainly weren't expected to take. So well done for Twisted Fusion. Team Cheesecake also, actually, I think, not really expected to progress as far as they did. They took a 2-0 game over somebody, now I can't remember who. You Left the Party, that's what it was, I believe, who were actually the top seed in their group and lost to their 3 and 4 seeds 0-2, 0-2. So Wild TP not doing so great here, but TCC doing well to make it to the second group stages and now has to win this match in order to avoid getting knocked out, as this is the losers bracket and both of these teams are fighting for their playoff lives. Bans are out with Pestilence, Chronix, Kraken, and Ophelia. All of those heroes reasonably strong and seen quite often, so nothing particularly surprising there. We don't see Kraken banned out too often, but not really opposed to that. He's a strong laner. He does well in pretty much every role he's put in, and he can be a serious problem if he is allowed to get some farm up. Major tank, does very well in team fights, pretty solid at picking people off too with that portal key, so certainly not a surprising ban by any means. So we're going to conclude the first picking stage here real quick. Bubbles and Ravener so far for the Legion side, so presumably that's going to be a Suicide Bubbles and a mid-Rav. I'd like to see the Rap. I love Rhapsody, love, and I like it as a lot when she's paired with an aggressive mid laner, and Ravener certainly fits that bill. Staccato Suns into Ball Lightning and Stormblades probably means kills. Certainly it's a very powerful lane at the least, and instead Tree going to choose to pick up the Magnus, so we'll see what that is. Saw that run before in another series, sort of as a jungle Magnus, pulling the creeps into the lane and then actually using them to kill the jungle camps, and Magnus actually did fairly well with that. Got to about level 4, was able to start moving around and become that roaming ganker, which he can do when he's got a level 2, level 3 stun. He becomes a much more powerful ganker than at level 1 because, of course, it's just too short range. It is also very possible we'll just see him in that short or suicide lane, as he does play both of those roles. He could even be mid. So Tree not giving up too much here, as they've got 3 heroes that can play at least a few roles each. And at this point, I think I would suspect Bubble Suicide, Ravener mid, and Magnus. I'm not sure where we're going to put him. Actually, just going to depend on the last 2 picks, but certainly plenty of options there for Willowkeeper. And Torture, Hag, Parasite coming out from the Hellborn side, so I would assume they're going to ban out the junglers here, as I don't imagine they'd like to run jungle versus jungle if they can avoid it. Although Magnus, we'll see what he actually does. He might try to jungle with that strategy. Anyway, certainly strong burst here coming out from the Hellborn side, and a little more carry potential with that Wretched Hag, and possibly Torture, depending on whether he's running that support or carry role. The first pick Torturer, I think, is a really strange decision. He's a powerful hero, but certainly not first pick worthy in my opinion. He's just not good enough either in that carry or support role. I wouldn't consider him among like the top 3 supports, and he's certainly not among the top 3 or even 5, maybe even 10 carries depending on who you talk to. I'm not really sure if that's a first pick hero, but nonetheless Wretched Hag and Parasite both very strong as well. It's interesting Tempest is left unavailable here, and we just haven't seen him very often. I don't know if people are realizing it's easy to deal with Tempest, and it is a little bit. If you block out all his camps, Tempest can have a hell of a time trying to do anything. Then he has to go to the other jungle. That's time and money wasted. And even if he's if you force out his jungle, then he's in the aggressive jungle, and he actually doesn't like that. because Tempest in an aggressive jungle is reasonably weak and vulnerable. He's not that fast. He's squishy. He only has the one stun, so if you come at him with a couple of heroes, there's a pretty good chance you can grab a kill. And then of course he uses all his mana, of course, with the elementals, so he may not even have the stun. But TCC choosing to not take out junglers, as they feel like it's alright if Tree picks up one to counter theirs. And I think that they're going to need some mid here, and they're going to need a suicide, as I assume Wretched Hag will be played in that short lane role, but I've actually been seeing a lot of Hag suicides, so I shouldn't say that. So we're going to see a suicide or a short laner, and we're going to see a mid hero here to complement TCC's lineup. As far as their options, there are still plenty left. Fade is on the board. We don't see her too often, but I still think quite a powerful hero. Witch Slayer, probably not going to show up. Prisoner, Devour, Gauntlet all available. We've seen Gauntlet quite often, actually, especially from No Keyboard, as LesQQ likes to play that hero. Drunken Master's still available. Let's see what else. Rally's up. We've seen him every so often in that mid role, sometimes in others as well. So a couple options here for the Hellborn side, but certainly a lot of them banned out, starting with that Pebbles, as Tree has banned Pebbles, Madman, and Chronos, so taking out a couple of the more aggressive carry-oriented suicides, presuming that Hag is either then going to be forced into the suicide role or that TCC was looking for that, and it will be the rally. So I'm presuming that's going to be a mid-rally, probably with a Torturer in order to form an aggressive dual lane, or possibly we'll see the Torturer babysit if Hag goes to the long lane. Not really sure yet. It's going to depend on their short laner, really, if it's a babysit type short laner like Moon Queen, or if it's a hero that can be left alone a little bit. Hellborn's bans are Master of Arms, Engineer, and Pharaoh, so taking out a couple of these supports here, as they already have their Torturer, and that's going to require Glacius pickup on the side of Legion on top of the Kinesis, so I would assume both Kinesis and Glacius are going to be running that support role. Kinesis can certainly be run as a carry. He does do well either situation, as it's a little interesting we see him, we don't see him all that much. He can also suicide. We saw, shoot, who was it with Tessie's team? Cheese Helmet, I think? He was running that as Jeppins, yeah. That was Jeppins, sorry. Who was running that suicide Kinesis, and they thought it was very powerful. It did fairly well a couple of times, but I don't think anything that really caught on for good reason. But banning out these supports here, as well as the Pharaoh for the Hellborn side. Pharaoh, of course, can play a couple of roles, suicide or mid, so that would complement Legion's lineup fairly well. I think it's a little bit of an interesting ban, probably not something I would have caught for myself, but hey. TCC is in fact going to grab that Puppet Master, it's sort of their signature hero. Ubergimp apparently really likes that, and so that'll probably be their short laner there with Wretched Hag. Actually, Squiz, I believe, is their mid player, so I think that's going to be Wretched Hag middle and a Rally Suicide, which I don't hate. Torture is then going to be in the babysit role with Parasite in the jungle, so that's some pretty solid kill potential up there in that top lane with Parasite coming into the ganks. It's a couple disables from Puppet Master on top of a stun from Torture, plenty of damage from either his Agonizing Bonds or Impalement, and Whiplash and Leech. Plus, you know, whether stuns or slows, Parasite can grab from the creep he picks up. So that's going to be a pretty solid kill lane up on top with the Pseudo-Shry lane. In terms of the Legion lineup, I'm suspecting this is going to be a Suicide Bubbles with a mid Raven or Glacius, I think, would make more sense. And then Kinesis and Magnus in the other lane. We might actually see a Glacius Ravener on bot. No, and they're going to go top, so this actually could be an aggressive tri-lane here. And with the Glacius and Kinesis, that wouldn't be the worst thing. I think that has some potential there with Magma's solo bottom. Figuring he's going to be up against that Suicide Hag. Or a Suicide Rally, in fact, as it is going to be, yes, mid Hag, like I said. So it is going to be that Rally Suicide, Hag mid, Parasite in the jungle with Puppet Master, and Torturer on top. So Hellborn's lane's a little predictable, knowing which players play which roles. It's pretty easy to figure that out. Courier actually going to die. Oh, that's a problem. That's a big problem. That's an upgraded Courier. That's going to be 400 gold right there that Torturer is going to have to come up with at some point, and he's going to have to go back to base as well. Parasite actually has 200, so he's going to go back and buy the Courier right now. Pretty big deal there, as the Legion managed to pick off the Hellborn Courier. Actually, that's a fairly large problem. So Parasite are going to have to spend 200 gold here to buy a Courier. I assume this gold he was looking for his Blood Chalice, so he's going to be delayed now. And actually the ward didn't go down in the pull, so a wasted Rev ward there. In fact, it went down over here. I'm not sure if that actually blocks this camp, but I would assume it does. Yes, they're still looking for this, and now Torture's going to be out of mana, because he has no mana regen. So interesting he's choosing to do that. And this is going to be a Suicide Kinesis. With it a safe tri-lane bot? Yeah. Okay, so no, this is going to be the Magmas jungle I was talking about. So he's going to drag the creeps in here and use them to jungle. And we've seen this before. It actually is fairly effective, as long as you can get the last hits, of course, because if you don't get the last hits, then you're kind of screwed. It basically does nothing for you. But Kinesis up here going to take some damage, and I don't really like this lane here. Actually, Torture is in a lot of trouble. He will grab a health pot. Now Kinesis perhaps in some danger. Will keep auto-attacking, but he's going to fall here. Last auto-attack from Torture, actually from Uber Gimp, thanks to the... Actually, that was a terrible health pot from Kinesis. Because not only did it, kill his health pot so he doesn't have any more, it's actually gave the Bloodlust to Puppet Master, and you'd much rather have it on Torture. So Torture would have had it with that last auto-attack if the health pot hadn't gone off, and instead Uber Gimp on this Puppet Master is going to get it. So hopefully he upgrades the Courier. Maybe not. And that initial Courier loss from the Hellborn side going to be very helpful now, as Parasite's messing with Magmas here, and in fact Magmas will take quite a bit of damage. We'll get the creeps off of him by pulling him into the easy camp. I'm going to continue to try to do this, but you need to be careful because the leech is up from Parasite right now, and there's the Shun actually not going to hit anything. Parasite is destroying this Magmas, so that's this jungle Magma strat not super effective here. Glacius coming in will freeze the creep, but Parasite just hops right out. Throws the leech on top of Glacius, and Bubbles is here as well, so Parasite dragging everybody into this. Meanwhile, on bottom, Rally and Robin are going at it, and Robin with a slight advantage earlier on thanks to Glacius' presence, but now Rally's like, well, Glacius is gone, I can do whatever the hell I want. And so Rally actually, I don't think he has, does he have any CS even? He has 1 CS, so not doing too well, but has lane control here, so that should help a little bit as long as the tower doesn't destroy his ability to take CS. So he gets one there, pretty solid. Up top, Kinesis once again getting jumped, as this is just not working. Stasis Smash will go down, and will it be enough? Nope, strings are available. This is a dead Kinesis once again. Nope, not quite actually, as the Whiplash is not enough to finish it off, so Uber will take a tower hit, but this Suicide Kinesis, Voxel, he is not having a good time. Will manage to get some CS here as the creep wave has moved under his tower. And actually Uber Gimp needs a little bit of health here if he wants to stay, because Kinesis has got no regen left, but he's a little higher on the totem pole, and with his ability to do burst damage, Puppet's not really in danger, but probably isn't as safe in this lane as he would normally like to be, so I think he needs to fly himself out some regen, possibly even a bottle, to make sure he can continue to get CS in this lane and massively harass his Kinesis, because he should be able to do that. Torture going to pull, and that will give him some lane control back. But really, both of them are so low at this point that they cannot kill this Kinesis, which is a bit of an issue because they should be able to. Courier coming out with a mana pot and some tangos for Puppet. So he will pop that, and I don't know why the tangos aren't. That's why. They're just going to have to get dropped. So Puppet now looking at this knockdown. No, Kinesis will just barely not have range there. Meanwhile, bot room can be contested a little bit. I believe, I don't know who picked it up actually. Is it refreshment maybe? I don't know. Meanwhile, up top, Kinesis is screwed. Trying to get a kill on Puppet, not going to happen. Hasted Hag coming in here. That's where it was. And there was a haster in top, so Hag uses it and helps finish off this Kinesis, who was sitting a little low. Uber Gimp will have to go all the way back to base thanks to his extremely low health. But he should be back in time. Meanwhile, Torture going to grab the CS while he's away. So TCC doing pretty solid here, as they've shut down this Suicide fairly effectively. 160 GPM on Voxel, which actually isn't that bad considering there's 2 deaths. And in fact, it's better or slightly right about the same as the Hellborn Suicide Rally, just because Rally has been mostly unable to get CS. 6-3 on Kinesis, and actually 11-2 on Rally, so I guess it's the courier kill too. That's doing a lot for his GPM. Top tower going to push in a little bit as the creep wave continues to siege it. Same thing on bottom. So bot lane farm, 26-2 Ravener versus a 12-3 Rally. So Rally actually having not a bad time down here. Things certainly aren't going great, but hey, he's the suicide hero. That's not really expected for things to go great. And Ravener, not doing so hot either. I think 26-2 CS, considering he should be having somewhat free farm with Glacius poking his head in every so often. It's a little low in my opinion, but we'll see. He does have 297 gold per minute, so it's certainly not bad. Look at the GPM charts. He's right up there with pretty much everybody, both Bubbles and Puppet Master on the other side. Meanwhile, in middle, Hag at 253 GPM, losing this lane pretty hard to Bubbles, and we've seen this matchup a lot. Bubbles versus Hag, and Bubbles tends to win. I think it's mostly because Bubbles is a little more burst damage, and then of course Bubbles, and so he can put some harass out and then get kills. Hag trying to kill Bubbles basically doesn't happen. And then of course when Bubbles hits 6, he can essentially just kill this Hag because he drops the kelp field. It's like either you take the stun of the damage from that, or you eat my auto attack Shell Surf Song of the Sea, and all of a sudden you can't do anything. So just a little too much damage coming out from Bubbles in the early game for Hag to deal with, but she's still having some respectable farm here. 250 gold per minute at 21-2 compared to the 32-9 of Bubbles. Meanwhile up top, Kinesis falls once again thanks to the Puppet ultimate. Chain reactions will stop him, and Uber Gimp gets the last hit there thanks to, I think the Impalement Sun probably hit the Puppet and killed him. Or the Impalement, just damage. In middle, meanwhile, Hag taking a bunch, and here comes Parasite. So there's the Song of the Sea, and now Bubbles is realizing, oh boy, I'm in trouble. Throws a Shell Surf out, and it supports this way, which is interesting. Hag gonna follow him up. There's Kelp Field gets dropped. Will take the stun here. She's got another blink in a couple of seconds, and Bubbles, you might be in some trouble here, buddy. She's also has the Bath Blast available. There's the... Nope. Will Shell Surf over the cliff and be fine. So, just enough time on that Shell Surf. Hag's blink is only level 1, so unfortunately not able to pick up the kill on Bubbles, but also doesn't die herself and saves her ult. Up top, Parasite coming in with the Minotaur will hide in the woods here looking for yet another kill on Boxhole, who's already 0-3-0. And if he steps up here, he's pretty screwed. So if there's vision of him, he's dead. And there's vision of him now, and come on, Parasite. There should be vision of him. Yep, he's definitely dead. Yep, now he's dead. There's Minotaur Stomp, and there's the Puppet Show on top of it, so he's forced to attack the Minotaur on top of the chain reactions, and Boxhole's just completely screwed here. Tries to Station Smash himself, prevent some damage, and the Port coming in for some help, but will be immediately cancelled. Suicide Kinesis. Not working. You know, I said it in the drafting stage. It used to be run by Jeppins. Didn't really work. It had a fair degree of success. Like initially, it was like, wow, this is actually working pretty well, and then it's pretty easy to counter just because, you know, he gets some speed with that inherent defense, so he's got some defensive capability, but he has no true escape mechanism. The Stasis Smash is nice, but it's not the greatest stun in the world, and he's just squishy. So when you have a Suicide like that who combines those attributes, squishy, not that fast, not a great stun, it's ripe for a continuous beating, as a couple of stuns and the dude just dies every time. Bubbles looking for a jump here on Hag, but she's actually left the lane to go back to base. And Boxel's yet again on top, trying like hell to find something. 150 gold per minute, as he's actually the 4th lowest GPM on the team. And Rally has overtaken him, who is over here now, actually. Parasite looking for some damage. Seismic Slime gets cancelled, and Grindballs on Parasite will fall. Seismic Slime still has not gone out. Looking to drop it somewhere. Ravener coming in here will put the ball lightning on Hag, and there goes a nice lava surge there from Root of Z, and that will be a hat trick for him as he picks up 3 kills. Huge dives from Hellborn. I'm not sure why they felt the need to do that. Especially considering, you know, that was, I guess, 3 heroes at some point, but I think it started with just Parasite and Rally. And Parasite got killed relatively quickly as the Legion brought 4. And then with just Hag and Rally, it was not nearly enough to withstand all the stuns and damage coming out from the Legion side. I think if the Seismic Slam had gone off, then that would have been a different story. They would have gotten at least one kill, possibly two, but it was interrupted. Meanwhile, Bot Ravener trying to push this in, but Rally will stop him. There's a Compel. I'm not going to Seismic Slam. Just going to really walk him down a little bit here, and still has plenty of mana. So Compel up in a few seconds, and Ravener has to be careful here because a Compel Seismic Slam is available, and that would kill him. Oh, nice Ball Lightning there, but it's nice. Nice Seismic Slam. Just enough time on the stun to be able to kill Ravener, as the Ball Lightning second stun was not able to come out. Up top, meanwhile, huge yank over here as Glaciers will get found by Parasite, but a Kelphill going on onto Puppet Master puts the Puppet Show, but not nearly enough as the Shell Surf finishes him off. Torture going to be here as the Tundra Blast gets put on the bot to try to save Glaciers from Parasite. So successful gank there onto Puppet Master, and he's actually not doing so well. 324 gold per minute is the highest farm in the game, but considering how thoroughly they've dominated this Kinesis, it's a little shocking his GPM's still 200. 0-4-1 there, and I mean, it's really surprising. Courier kills do a lot for you. And Bubble's not content to leave quite yet, as they're thinking they can pick up a second kill, but Parasite's also here. Here comes the port, and I assume that's from Puppet Master. Wild Hunter can come out from Parasite. We'll scout some stuff out. We'll spot this Bubbles here. And nice Puppet Show there. We'll Shell Surf away, and won't make it, actually. I think a Stasis Smash might have stopped him there, and he will fall. Kinesis now in some trouble, as the strings are still available from Puppet, and he's just going to die. I'm going to try to pour it out here, put the Face Hug down, and there's the strings for the death. So Torture getting a double tap there, as meanwhile on Bot Ravener what's getting pushed in this tower in, and Rally's trying to stop it. He has a Seismic Slam once again, so go for it, man. Compel, do some harass with that, and the demoralizing roar. Yeah. See what you can do. Glacius is here to support a little bit, so that's probably not going to be a great play anymore. But Bot tower taking some pretty heavy pressure here, as it's clear the Legion are looking to push this in. Same thing on top. Puppet Master has a Hell Cannon here and a decent creep wave. This looks like it'll be a top tower kill. Certainly within deny range, and it's going to die before the port gets here, except for the Glyph. There goes the last hit, though, and nice loss. Stun goes on to Puppet Master, but not nearly enough. Rally going to get some support here in bottom. Looking for the Compel stun, but it gets Ice Imprisoned. Parasite over here will... No! Line Stun going to stop a lot of stuff. Rally will fall, but so does Glacius. Solid trade for Legion time. Nice strings there onto Ravener, and he's in some trouble. Shellster coming in from the side, though, and Bubbles puts Skelefield onto two. Now Parasite and Puppet Master in a lot of trouble. Infest there from Parasite. He'll get away, but Puppet Master not nearly lucky enough to have something like that, and he dies. So that ends up being a 2-for-1 trade there in favor of the Legion, plus the tower kill, which I do not believe was denied. No. It was killed in favor of Ravener. So nice support there from the Legion side, helping their teammates out. And that will be a 1 engagement from them. Some grouping up here in middle as 4 heroes will converge, and it looks like they're probably trying to take this mid tower out, which is about half dead. Look at the GPM charge real fast. It's pretty interesting. It was plateaued before. Everybody's around 300, 320 gold per minute as Shell Surf's going to come out. Compel is forward, not going to hit Bubbles as he takes the Song of the Sea. And then a Lava Surge, and no Eruption. Actually, Tundra Blast plenty, and Noob Noob on that rally will die. But now there's some chase here. Nice chain reactions, and that's just going to be a death onto Magma's. Bat Blast hits a couple. Lava Surge there. Tarsha takes the Ball Lightning Stun. He will die to Shell Surf. And Kinesis has the inherent defense up, trying to put some damage out. Tundra Blast will finish off Hag. Nice strings there onto Kinesis, plus the ultimate will kill him. And this is a 3 versus 2 right now in favor of Legion. Parasite now in a little trouble. Has the infest up, but getting chased down. Puts the soldier, or gets in the soldier. And it looks like Legion will be backed off this mid lane a bit, as they took another positive engagement there, but perhaps not enough to kill the tower. Worth noting Lightbrand here on Ravener, so he's pretty clearly going the carry route. And obviously that makes plenty of sense. There's nobody else on this Legion team that really would carry for them. Bubbles off to the side, perhaps looking for a pick on the Hag, but not going to find one, I don't think. So yeah, very often we see that, Ravener Portal Key looking to be an initiator. This is pretty clearly not the case, as he's going the farm route. Lightbrand and Dawnbringer in general, really a very powerful item for him. He likes that mana regen, as he's in a little trouble here at half health, but not going to get jumped on. Counter ward going here, as Torture manages to kill the opponent's Ward of Rev. And, I mean, that makes sense. Hellborn's got Puppet Master and Wretched Hag, both of whom, are certainly right-click carries, and the Legion doesn't really have anybody like that except for Ravener, and I'd argue that Ravener isn't even that. I think he's a really good initiator, and he can have some carry potential as the Shell Surf and Ball Lightning both miss. Kelpfield goes down, Invis Rune popped by Hag, and she's going to be like, haha. Meanwhile, up top, Root of Z falls, as he gets the chain reactions there, on top of the Impale, and a bunch of damage from Torturer picking him off, so Hag will be fine. Lucky Rune a bit there, as she had the ability to just invis herself, but of course if she had blinked away, over here, she would have taken the Kelpfield stun, but ended up, in this area, and she's probably looking fine. Looks like we're going to see a Helm finished here on Rav, and Codex picked up by Parasite, 16 minutes, not bad. And looking at the gold here, like I said, it's really interesting because it was reasonably even on the Legion side, and now it's plateaued a little bit. 386 on Rav, and the 280s for both Magmas Bubbles, 190 for Kinesis, and 124 for Glacius. So lots of farm here on Rav, not so much for the rest of his team, especially not for the Suicide. Meanwhile, on Hellborn, things are much more even. Puppet Master's pretty far up there at 356. Not quite, but almost rivaling that Ravener. But the rest of his team is much more evenly spread, with 186 GPM on Rally being the worst. And presumably that will jump up as he gets some more space open, some more farm, a few more kills perhaps. It's very rare that you see an actual support stay as not the lowest farmer on the team throughout the game, unless the game ends very quickly. And they happen to be in an extremely aggressive lane. So Legion Ancients here going to get checked out as Ball Lightning misses Hag. Of course, it is blocked with this Ward of Sight, but they're doubled, and Hellborn now know that. So they're presumably interested in taking this mid tower, as Legion haven't really been looking interested in mounting a defense. And one would imagine the Hellborn are going to steal these Legion Agents at some point. They certainly should. So Lightbrand on Rav. Nothing quite that close on Hag. She's at 655 total gold, and with only 244 gold per minute, perhaps won't have the Lightbrand for another couple of minutes, assuming she does grow that route. And we're going to see a mid push here from the Legion side as Glacius comes in as well. Parasite looking for an opening, but won't find it. Torture's also off to the side, so we're looking at 5 Legion heroes here with Bubbles coming in inside. This is pretty definitely going to be a mid tower kill, as they're a little too powerful here to deny it. Cliff Fortification going to slow things down a little bit, but Ubergimp on top and Rally on bot just basically mean this tower's dead.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
Hellborn choosing to give up their tower with no resistance, and I don't really like to say that, but I don't think it's always the worst decision. In that situation, I think I probably would have defended it. They don't really want to, I guess they don't really want a team fight here, and I can sort of understand that. They don't have too much team fight stuff really, except for the Bat Blast, Torture, and the Seismic Slam. Pretty much Puppet and Parasite are almost all single target. And meanwhile, on the Legion side, of course, the mass control from Kinesis, Glacius' ultimates, as Glacius and Bubbles will get found over here. Glacius trying to get stopped, but here's the Compel Stun. Will kill him. It's a hilarious thing. Sounds drunk. So Fusion apparently not feeling too happy about that one, probably. Compel Stun onto Bubbles, plus the Seismic Slam, and now he's in a little bit of trouble. Puts the Shell Surf down, but just gets wrecked by Grind Boss. That Codex doing plenty of damage. And in the meantime, Kinesis will fall as well in the middle, as Invis Puppet just puts the attack, Puppet Show, and the ultimate down, and bam. You dead, buddy. So this is looking like a bot tower push, as 4 heroes in fact are down here from the Hellborn side, and this bot tower has taken no damage, but with all of them down here, it probably wouldn't take that long for them to kill it. Torture has Impalement level 4, it'll certainly help quite a lot. And 2 heroes now currently down for the Legion side, so perhaps not as able to defend as might normally be the case. So there goes the Impalement. Tower can take a bunch of damage here, get dropped at least half. And port's coming in, so Legion is interested in defending this. Bubbles picking up the portal key. Jump in here from Magnus, as he also has the portal key, but the compel away from Torture will take the Keltfield stun. Puppet Show there is actually fusing, gets destroyed by Parasite. And Bubbles actually missing the ball lightning there is Ravener. And Torture now going to take a bunch of damage. Not quite enough to die though. In the meantime, Lava Surge does pick off Grind Balls on that Parasite. Puppet Master now running away. He's taking a bunch of damage. Has just enough for the Shroud. And it looks like Legion's going to back off. Shell Surf gets put out that way. And he's just going to run away. Bart Future on this Torture does get picked off by Ravener, so that ends up being a 1-for-2 exchange, I believe, as Glacius died, but they took Torture and Parasite on the Hellborn side. And this can turn into a secondary push here, and actually Ubergimp does get picked off here. Just barely spots him. I don't know what the hell happened there. That was extremely lucky. So this game is actually relatively even at 20 minutes. We're seeing a 1.5k gold lead for the Legion, but a 1,000 experience lead for the Hellborn. And both teams doing fairly well. I think Hellborn are relatively okay with that. They're pretty fine with the game staying even because they should believe as the Lava Surge comes in for 2, will just barely get the tower kill. Stasis Smash there as well, and Kinesis is going to fall here, no question. Puts the mass control up, trying to increase that inherent defense, but not nearly enough. Meanwhile, over here, Ravener's getting chased down by Hag. She's actually taking quite a lot of damage thanks to those auto attacks. Pops the power supply. And there's the leaps onto them. The Compel for it as well, and the Deafening Roar plus the Extraordinary Scream. Actually, Lava Surge onto Hag, and now she's just barely going to live thanks to the Blink. And Magnus should be okay. There goes the Leech, but he'll be fine. He has a Portal Key and Lava Surge anyway. Bubbles in the back looking for a pick on somebody, probably Hag, but she did TP out, so won't really find one. Ravelry's a little low. Could probably pick him off with the entire combo. Song of the Sea misses though. Nice Compel and a Seismic Slam will actually hit. Keltfield on the 3, and Rally's not going to die. Bubbles is in the back though. Oh my god, Rally's so close to dead. Bubbles is in the back. Will get picked off? Yes. Rally manages to safely get away. He does have a portal key, so that's well done. Root of Z in the meantime will actually get picked off as well as the Puppet Show goes on to him, plus the ultimate, and just bam. Little too much aggression there from the Hellborn side. I think once the Song of the Sea missed from Bubbles, she should have been like, I'm gone. And the aggressive blinks in with the Shell Surf. I get that you're just trying to stay away from the enemy heroes long enough to get your portal key back up. But perhaps a little too much aggression there. Stuport's going to be here in bot. Kinesis going to put down the Death of Rev, so no more Assassin's Shroud, and Puppet's going to be taking a ton of damage here. Will Stage Smash not going to save him. Stasis Smash might have actually saved him for that last thing that might have killed him, so Ubergimp going to fall there as lots of defense coming in from the Legion side. Ravener looking for another pick. Won't find it. He does have that portal key, which will make him much more mobile, of course. A lot easier to hit that ball lightning when you can just jump right onto people. And I like that choice. Even if you're going to go the more carry route, I think the portal key is a necessary item for Ravener. So pretty even now, but I mean, it's all of a sudden a 5k experience lead here for the Hellborn side as they have that jungler, of course. And that's not really fair because Legion sort of have jungler and the Magmas. It's not like they have 2 real supports. Nonetheless, Parasite certainly a little better at juggling than Magmas is, so early advantage coming in, and I think Hellborn just taking a little more advantage of their resources as they can farm a little faster than Legion side can at this point. Between Puppet, Hag, and Parasite and Rally, they've got a little more farm potential. They're a little better at cleaning up creep camps as well as lanes. Parasite going to port away on top as Bubbles comes in here. Worth noting top tower still alive. But jump in here with Compel there, and just everything to be dropped on the Ravener will die immediately. Lava Surge here from Magnus. We'll put the Steam Bath down to get some invisibility. Trying to run away. Another 6 seconds or so on that portal key. Glacius coming in from the side. Tries to put the Puppet Show down 2 ports here from the Legion, as that's of course Bubbles, and Kelpfield going on to 3, and he's going to try to get somebody with these ports in with the Shell Surf, and actually Ubergimp there will get taken out by the ultimate from Glacius, but Krake on Bubbles falls as he eats the chain reactions and the Codex. So probably a slightly positive fight there for Hellborn as they pick off 2 and lose 1. Of course, Ubergimp is their sort of primary farmer, really. And although Hag, is catching up here. 321, 320 on Puppet, 315 on Hag. And with all this time Puppets can spend dead, Hag should overtake him. So Puppet and Hag going to do some, co-carrying here. Parasite still farming pretty well, 300 GPM. Rally has gotten himself up into the 274, so very well done there. Oh, that's how we're going to fall, actually. It doesn't even get denied, so a bit of a misplay there from Rally. Ravenor. Hag going to take out these double-stacked Ancients. Light Brand helping a lot with that. Triple Ancients over here on the Legion side, so we'll see what they do. Perhaps Ultimate's going to be used. I'm going to clean up all these with some help from Torque. Meanwhile, in mid, jump onto Bubbles. Will not take the Seismic Slam as it is cancelled, but if Ice Imprisonment there, nice Puppet Show on the Bubbles, and she's just going to get direct. Both ultimates certainly not necessary, but they get the kill, so... And Hellborn are gradually pushing this game in their favor. I think Willkeeper need to be a little concerned about the direction this is going. They're getting picked off a little bit too much. Ravenor's got some pretty excellent farm, but nobody else on the Legion side is doing very well. 286 on Magnus is number 2, and then down to 250s for both Kinesis and Bubbles. As Bubbles had a really great start and has since fallen off a lot. I think he's playing a little too aggressive here, not going in with his team enough. He doesn't have enough damage by himself to pick off pretty much anybody, even that Torture has Mystic Vestments and 900 health, so he might not die. Everybody else on the Hellborn side pretty much guaranteed not to, between the Blink and the Shroud and the Compel and the more Blinks and Infest. Glacius down here perhaps in a little bit of trouble, as Hag will jump in, but he just goes into the shop at the same time, so poor timing there from Hag, and Glacius will pour it out. Up top, Magnus grabbing some farm on this lane as it's pushed up pretty hard. And Legion items not particularly interesting. Kinesis actually has almost nothing. It's kind of sad here. Bloodstone, Mystic Vestments, and Ring of the Teacher on top of Steam Boost. Meanwhile, up top, Root of Z on that Magnus does fall. He gets Puppet Show on him, and yeah, support coming in terms of the teleports. Perhaps looking for a jump onto Puppet. Dust of Revelation coming out, so he won't be able to invis. Tries to anyway, but he's going to die. He tries to run at least, but not going to happen, as the entire Legion team reacts to that, and it looks like they're going to push this out, but I don't think they can take a tower here, so... Yeah, Kinesis is going to fall back, head middle, grab the farm there. Meanwhile, 3 heroes heading top for the Legion, and in fact, Glacier's going to grab a port, I think, and leave. No, he's not, no, for 10 seconds. Bubbles having a similar theory about what he should do. Glacier's going to get found out here by Rally, but so is Ravener. And Ball Lightning actually going to get eaten there. He pops the Barrier Idol first, and here comes Parasite with the Wild Hunter, so perhaps they'll look to jump this. No, Ravener just will get out. A little ballsy there, but doesn't pay for it, as Hellborn were a little late in responding So at this point, I think for Hellborn, it's basically a matter of don't throw, because they are out farming, out resource controlling their opponents, and they have a late game, I think, here. So it comes to a matter of we're gonna spend the next 10 minutes farming. We should probably take Congo at least once, and during that time, we are not going to get picked off. We are going to do whatever we can to stay safe and play safe. And then once we get a couple more items, perhaps the Shrunken Head on the Puppet Master, and whatever Hag's going for next, I'd guess a Shrunken as well, then we're going to fight. And until that time, I don't want to take team fights. I want to take all my opponent's jungle. I want to take my own jungle. I want to take their ancients. I want to take my ancients. I want to take Kong. Legion, on the other side, can't let them do that. They've got the pick-off potential here, with Bubbles in particular, but also Rally and Magnus and Ravener, and Kinesis doing plenty of burst damage. Portal keys on 2 of those heroes. They've got some initiation. Jump here onto Magnus, and he's just going to get wrecked. Kelpfield goes on to 3, but they're going to take a bunch of stuns. Burial gets popped, and Rally's support's going to get cancelled, actually, as Parasite will get out, but a double stun plus an eruption here, and actually Hag will just barely get away. Is Compel up for Rally? No, it is, but he eats the stuff there, and Hag will be able to port out there. So it's a 1-for-1 trade there, but a few ultimates used on both sides. As Kelpfield came out, Eruption came out, Glacial Blast ultimate came out. What is it even called? Glacial Downpour. Seismic Slam, Bat Blast. I think, of course, Facehog probably got used. And it ended up being a 1-for-1, so a little anticlimactic considering that pretty much everybody ulted, except for Kinesis and, of course, the heroes that weren't there for the Hellborn, namely Torture and Puppet, although Torture's ult's not really a big deal. Assassin Striding over here as he tries to jump the bubbles, won't happen, and Parasite's going to get destroyed. Puppet Show there onto Kinesis. Going to put some damage out, but Puppet's like, nope, don't want any part of that. So this is probably going a little against the Hellborn's game plan, I think, at this point. This should not be their objective to get these picks. Because, like I was saying, you know, it needs to be, you know, Parasite and Rally can do that. They can run around and get picks if they want to try to. That's fine. Puppet and Hag, perhaps less important that they're involved in that endeavor, because they shouldn't die here. They need to just be farming, because their role is to carry, and they can't do that if they keep getting picked off and failed ganks. And Legion have shown pretty continuously they're willing to group up, they're willing to provide support to somebody if they start to get initiated on. And on bot, meanwhile, Hag and Rally in a little trouble. Ravener actually going to put a stun stuff down, just destroys Hag. Jesus, she died fast. So perhaps a little over-aggression coming out there as Ravener, is he hasted or something? Just at that much move speed from the charges he builds up from his ultimate. Fast. It's 506 move speed thanks to the ultimate Dawnbringer. It's dropping now as his charges fall. Ancients, meanwhile, are going to be jump here onto Bubbles, and he will die. There's the Seismic Slam to finish him off. Perhaps not necessary, but gets the kill. Meanwhile, Invis Rune on bot going to get stolen, in fact, by Raveners. Surprised Hellborn heroes did not see that. It's a nice pick there on the Bubbles. But as you can see, you know, it was a more substantial lead here for the Hellborn side. Now they're just under 2k gold or 3k gold and 5k experience. And this is not really the time where they want to be taking a lot of risks, I don't think, and yet they are. I don't like that, and they're certainly paying for it. So it's not like this is just me saying stupid crap and being totally wrong about everything. That happens enough, I know. But I think in this case, that's not really what's going on. I mean, Hag is getting picked off. Puppet actually hasn't gotten picked off in a bit, but Parasite's getting picked off. Ral's getting picked off because they're running these ganks with heroes they really shouldn't be. Hag and Puppet need to be farming. And really, there aren't too many heroes in the Legion side that won't die to a Parasite rally anyway. Bubbles certainly showed he will. Absolutely Glacius will. Kinesis should if he gets completely initiated on. Nice stasis smash there. Will prevent everything, but puts the Facehog up, and in another stasis smash, actually the first one was a Storm Spirit. Lava Surge will hit too. Puppet Master going to put everything down, and man, Rudazi falls immediately. But here comes Ravener, going to put a whole bunch of stuff down. Mass Control goes out. Bat Blast is there. Puppet Master has the Shrunken Head going on, trying to live, just dies to a last auto attack from Glacius. Hag going to blink away as Torture's looking for an escape here. Stasis Smash onto her, and she's going to fall with the freeze. Torture looking for an escape here, but oh, nice PK over. I'm not sure what Bubbles is doing here because he could die. Like, poor, oh god, nice chain reactions there. Drops the Bound Eye, tries to kill it. I think he did. So Bubbles playing a little aggressive there, I think. It didn't really need to. But like I said, why are you doing this? They're taking these engagements against a team that has so much stun and so much chase with all these portal keys and the shell surf and a lot of lockdown with the Magma Stun. Ravener does it pretty well. Kelpfilt from Bubbles. Glacius has a lot. Stasis Smash from Kinesis. They're trying to take these engagements with heroes that can't die at this point, particularly Puppet and Hag, and now both of them are at 250 GPM. Ravener is at 500. Now, like I said before, Ravener's not really a traditional right-click hero. He doesn't carry as hard as Puppet or Hag will. That all goes out the window if you give him 500 GPM and you're at 350. Like, at this point, he will destroy you. Because every hero is a carry with enough farm. Like, Glacius will carry if you give him 800 gold per minute. And I don't understand why Hellborn and then they're certainly forcing these engagements. This is Parasite jumping into people. This is Rally jumping into people and having their teammates follow them into death. So this is not new. Ravener can jump Hag over here, but she does get the ball blink off. Ball Lightning does follow her, and now she's dead. So was not able to blink until after. Meanwhile, Boxel over here will fall to Torturer. So 1 for 1 there, and now Torture actually going to fall, so that's going to be 2 for 1. Glacius in the back as well. I feel like Hellborn is throwing. I don't understand why they feel like they need to take these engagements. I mean, Hag is pushing down here with no vision. They don't know where Ravener is. Like, you gotta be careful about that. Certainly more careful than she is being. This just makes no sense to me, why they're making the decisions they are. It just seems like they had a lead, and they had heroes that could take that lead and turn it into a win. And instead of doing that, really, instead of riding those heroes to a win, they decided, let's go take a bunch of engagements we don't need to take, and in the meantime, we'll die a lot, and give this team this game to lead aside. As the secondary tower goes down here, Puppet trying to push the top tower, and without a response here, he will get it. I think he's going to get it anyway. Cliff of Fortification goes out, but certainly going to be a dead tower up here, as it will just die to creeps. Puppet Master popping the Assassin's Stride will go port in the woods, so Puppet will live. And this is basically going to be a question of, can Rally outcarry these two heroes on the Legion side? They're looking for Puppet here, they're not going to find him. At this point, yes. Because Ravener has 520 gold per minute, and neither of the carries on Hellborn have broken 400. And really, Hag has just over 350 now. So jump here onto Bubbles, and she'll get wrecked. Seismic Slam. Destroyed. Hail, he, she, whatever. I don't know if that alt avatar is male or female. It sounds kind of female, so. So, you know, picks like that, Rally and Parasite, fine. Do that all day. If you guys die, it's not that big a deal. Obviously, you don't want that, but, you know, you can afford to get surprised in those engagements every so often. Stop bringing Puppet and Hag with you. It's nice if they get hero kills, but they can farm pretty much just as fast through killing creeps. And if you're not dealing with creeps, if you're going after heroes, that opens the map a little bit more for them. And they'll be in a hell of a lot less danger, and they won't be dying nearly as much, so I don't really like it. Invis Torture over here. Not in too much danger, as the Legion side has no revealing items. Dust of Revelation, actually, sorry, on Glacius. Will be popped, but they're not going to see anything. Ball Lightning, not going to hit anybody, as Conqueror's not being attempted. And Legion side clearing out their jungle as Hellborn retreat. Puppet gonna instead farm this bot lane. And we'll pour it out. Torturer over here does still have the invis rune and still looking to keep an eye on his opponents. Invis wears out in about 8 seconds, so he's getting the hell out of there, as he well should. And like I said, this golden experience, they keep swinging in favor of the Hellborn. You can see right now it's 1,200 there for gold and about 1,000 for experience. That was even about a minute ago, and now Hellborn are pushing it back in their favor. They just keep doing this. They're out-farming their opponents, and they can do that very easily. It's when they keep trying to take these fights that's not working for them, so stop it! Hag does go with that Shrunken Head to like that pickup. Lots of magic damage here from the Legion side. Glacius, Bubbles, Magmus, Kinesis doing tons. In fact, that Shrunken will basically shut down 3 heroes in the Legion side in Kinesis, Glacius, and Bubbles. And make them more or less ineffective. Puppet already has his, of course, has had one for a long time, so certainly a great pickup there. He has a Whispering Helm now, that will give him a little more survivability in fights. Perhaps looking for Geometers, perhaps looking to finish that Symbol of Rage. I think either would be a solid choice. Geometers, of course, give me a little more damage, well, a lot more damage, really, and some confusion, a little bit of survivability, really, with those illusions. They have to, like, okay, which one's him? And always a nice feature. Portal Key here onto Parasite, so it did not look like he went the oh, sorry, he's in creep, so I can't actually see what he's doing. Torture going to put a red ward down there, and we'll see much also putting a word of sight as well. So he actually went Codex 2, but then decided to go for no more levels in it, instead picking up a Portal Key and a Blessed Orb now, so I'm going to go ahead and guess that's a Sheepstick. Bubbles on bot has to be real careful here. Yeah, they see him. We'll be able to Portal Key and TP away, as he was feeling something wrong there, and certainly his sixth sense paid off. I'm just cleaning stuff up there. Torture actually getting spun as Kinesis trying to prevent initiation onto him. Onto himself, really, not on Torture. Ravener now with that Beast Heart. 3,700 health. Or Behemoth's Heart. Portal Key, Dawnbringer, Shrunken Head. Dude's a beast. I'm legitimately unsure as to how they're going to kill him. And it's not like he's not going to do any damage in these fights. He hits pretty damn hard. And he'll hit even harder as he continues to attack people. He'll be even faster. So this could be an issue. Kongor, meanwhile, looks like it's going to go down in favor of the Hellborn, as they've grouped up pretty effectively here. This should be a relatively fast kill, which is good because top tower is getting pushed in by the Legion. So they need to take this quickly and get top. Otherwise, they could lose a base tower or even more. Ravener just destroying this tower by himself, as we will quickly realize that nothing's going on in terms of a response. Torture gets killed by Kongor, so now they know what's happening, but it's way too late for them to do anything about it. Now as they stop their Ball Lightning hits, Cell Surf does not hit anything, as the Kelpfield does go off onto Puppet Master, but he's already invisible, so he doesn't care. Dust actually does not hit anything. Parasite going to jump in here, destroys Glacius, gets off with that creep. Eruption going in on the side meanwhile, and Kraken also falls to the Seismic Slam. Mass Control coming out, and Rally will die. Parasite now in a ton of trouble. He's also going to fall, I think. Yeah, he's dead here. And Magmus nearly dead, will just barely survive. Hag getting the hell away. Stormspurt onto Magmus, and now Puppet puts his ultimate out, but not going to be enough. Dies with a token. Puppet ultimate is still available, but now he's dead again. Hag going to be able to TP out. Massively one fight there for the Legion side, even with a token getting killed. Buyback here from Parasite. And this is just rad, man. 560 gold per minute. And this is a situation where a hero with some carry potential, but not that much. Parasite gonna jump in. Rav doesn't even care. Triple stun there from Magnus. Will Storm Spirit himself, so he doesn't quite die, but another Storm Spirit. Still gonna fall here, I think, thanks to Torture. Yeah, finally gets killed. Zloka does die. Takes a ton of stuff, but they do end up eventually killing him. As actually a buyback was also used on Puppet. So they're going to need to get something out of this. And I'm thinking that's going to be a mid-tower push. Buyback is also available on Ravener, so they're not going to get too much out of it. And he's back in a minute anyway. So I think the Legion's just going to give up this mid-tower. There's not really too much they can do to defend it. They need Rav up to be able to feel real safe team fighting. As Invis, Kinesis there, but he's on top of a War of Rev. And he might have figured it out. They're looking for him, but he's just out of the range. He's going to walk back over. It takes the creeps up there, and actually that's a bad decision, man. He's going to get wrecked. Bubbles jumping in here as well. Gets the strings on top of him, though. Ravener coming back. He did buy out, and that's going to be a bunch of damage there. Bubbles manages to just escape. Now Rally getting destroyed by Ravener. Is somehow still alive. Has the Compel available. Will get it off, and Portal keys away. Blaze just getting the freeze on to Torture, and now Torture is just dead. Sorry, buddy. Ravener picking him off very easy. Blink away from Hag, but there's the Ravener. He's so damn fast. All those charges, man. And they're wearing off now, so Hag will be fine. Buyback from Rav. Probably not worth it. They defend mid-tower, which is nice, but I think they probably could have lost it anyway, and that wouldn't have really been a huge deal. Bubbles, meanwhile, jumping away from Parasite, but Ball Lightning actually going to hit him, and yeah, and he pops out, and now Parasite's screwed. Lava Surge coming in now to finish off the kill. So the Ball Lightning hit him before he infested, and then he had to pop out of it because it was too low health. Now the buyback is paid off because they got 2 kills instead of 1, and they're going to push down middle. Buyback is available on Puppet, but of course he's not dead, so who cares? Parasite does not have one, so he's dead for the next 60 seconds. Torture going to be back in 20. And I'm just not sure they can hold off this Ravener at this point. He's so powerful. He has a Shrunken and the Behemoth's Heart, extremely large amounts of health, and hits pretty damn hard, too. The tower going to fall. And I think they're just in a position of jump in the base, man. Just like, go after those racks, make them initiate on you. Who cares if they start to throw some stuff down? It's not like you're going to die, really, with all the support we can give you. There's multiple Storm Spirits here on the Legion side, plus the Kinesis. As jumping in here onto Rally, compels away. Lava Surge onto 2. Sheepstick now onto Rav, so that's a bit of an issue, but he gets Storm Spirit immediately. Bubbles jumping in with the Silence. Torture getting taken a lot of damage. Will die here to the Magnus and Ravener auto attacks. Shrunken Head on Magnus is up and over. Dust Revelation gets popped. And now this is all of a sudden a 4v3 as Parasite's nearly going to be back here, but we'll see if that's enough. Like, I just don't feel like what can, Hellborn does not have enough tank, really. Even with Rally available, as he's going to jump in, but he get hit by the Lava Surge. Kelpfield goes off onto 2. And we'll see what happens over here. Hag taking a bunch of damage, managed to get the blink off. Eruption, huge there, as Magnus Storm Spirits himself and will not die. Everybody on the Hellborn team dead, except for Puppet. Will put the strings and the attacks onto Kinesis, but gets Storm Spirit. And now he's going to take a bunch of damage from those things. Station Smash as well. There goes the Ball Lightning, and he's just going to get destroyed by Mass Control. So, Genocide there in favor of the Legion side, and I think that's GG's. This is going to be easy mid-racks, probably top as well. Buyback is available on Puppet, but that's it. So this is going to be free base now for the next minute. As Torture is going to be available, but what the hell can he do? If he even shows his face, he will get jumped and killed by Rav. Bot tower going to fall here. And there go the racks. Another 30 seconds still. Torture's in here going, what do I do? What do I do, guys? Buyback on Puppet. As that's his last one, gets the strings out, and they're trying to kill this Ravener. I'm not sure it's going to be enough, though. As there's a Stasis Smash onto Puppet, and he's going to take the Ice Imprisonment as well. Now he's going to take a bunch of damage here from Rav. Puts the Shrunken Head up, so that'll be helpful. Puppet chose onto Ravener, but he pops the Shrunken as well. Racks go down. And they're going to prevent more damage here. Puppet not having anything to stop the Glacius. Ball Lightning going out. They're going to miss, actually. Strings onto Ravener once again. Nice chain reactions hit both of them. Kinesis but stays smash on Puppet. Lava Surge onto 2, though. There's the mass control. Torture gets evaporated. Ubergimp also falling. No buyback for him. Ravener's in a ton of trouble here. Continually getting Storm Spirited. Still going to die, I think. Yep, there it goes. Hitting 2 with the Magma Stun. He has a Shrunken Head, so he'll run away. Glacius is in some trouble here as he's... Or sorry, Kinesis is in some trouble. Meanwhile, Bubble's trying to get out of there. Storms gets the Shell Surf off, and actually, nice portal key there from Parasite. Take cover will stop the Compel Stun, but here comes the jump in from Ravener as he's bought out, and he's like, yeah, guess what, bitches, I'm back. Will destroy this rally here really effectively. Magma's coming in with the Lava Surge Stun, hits 2. Sheepstick onto Ravener once again, but there's the Ice Imprisonment on the Parasite. He takes the Face Hug and transfers it to Glacius, but this is still going to be a dead Parasite as Ravener's just chasing him down. Leech is not going to help you very much there, buddy. Ball Lightning hits, but the auto attack's still plenty. And now this is going to be a dead Rax on bot too. Hag is available. Buybacks on nobody. And Hag's just like, what do I do? Ravener doesn't even hit that hard. It's taking him a long time to kill these Rax. Lift for fortification going up. Even more annoying. But nobody's alive to stop him, so it's like, whatever.
A Hellborn barracks has been destroyed.
And because his attacks are superior magic and they don't hit buildings, that part of it doesn't hit buildings, so he doesn't hit that hard, really. 230 to 227 to 235 attack damage. Not that impressive. I mean, like, let's Puppet. It's 212 to 220, so that's pretty much the same amount. And Puppet's at 337 GPM to nearly 600 from Ravener, so you wouldn't expect that. It's the right-click auto attacks from the ult with the superior magic damage that's doing so much in the team fights. It's just his building damage isn't quite as powerful. So 2,600 gold still here on Ravener. He does not have another buyback left. He's used both of them. And he's nearly 6-slotted. Ports away using his post-haste. And with 2 lanes down here for the Hellborn, I'm shocked they're still in this game. I mean, at this point, like, there's just not enough farm on anybody. Hag has the highest GPM on the Hellborn team at 400. With a Grimoire of Power, you're supposed to be in the 500 plus range. Like, that's just where you're supposed to be. The problem is, she's dying all the time. It's 3, 6, and 13. Puppet, 7, 10, and 8. Set 10, 7, 14, 9, 7, 10, 7, 8, 9. Like, everybody here on this Hellborn side has 6 or more deaths. And on the Legion side, 4 heroes do, but, 2 of them are at 6 exactly, compared to the Hellborn that are mostly at 7, 8, 10. And of course, lots of death on Bubbles and Kinesis. Kinesis can be forgiven a little bit as the Sheepstick coming here on Torture as well as on Bubbles. Ravener coming in here, Ball Lightning will list, but Torture's still in a ton of trouble. Shrunken Head on Ravener, and he's looking for the chase here. Lava Sudden will help finish off Tort, and Shrunken Headed will wear off there on Hag. She's trying to get away. Kelfield does not hit her. They're looking for the Lava Surge. Shell Surf will find her. There it is, and she's going to eat the Ball Lightning as well, and she's actually going to be able to blink away, but the Ball Lightning follows her, and she's going to die. So nice waiting there from Ravener to anticipate that she'd blink away and waiting to save the second Ball Lightning initiation until she did so he could follow her. Hag, no buyback. Torture, no buyback. What can Hellborn do? They can sit here and watch their base die. I don't think they can do anything else. They can futilely attempt to defend it and get their entire team killed in the process. Puppet Show onto Ravener. He's taking quite a bit of damage, but like that's the whole Puppet's ultimate. That's supposed to kill things. It barely even hurt him. Jump in here as Bubbles will get immediately disintegrated, but there's going to counter jump actually. Glacius will put up the Dust of Revelation, eats the strings there, and he's going to take a bunch of damage here. Might even fall. Storm Spirit on him actually will help a lot. Ravener with the Assassin's Shroud is going to help. Eruption going off, and Storm Spirit onto Puppet will save a lot of his damage, but Rally falls very quickly. Now Puppet's going to die as well. Bound Eye into Magnus to prevent everything, and there's the GG's. So that's going to be game. Very well played from Tree. Like I'm surprised they were able to carry as hard as they were with Ravener. I did not expect that to happen. But then again, I didn't expect Hellborn to throw as hard as they did, because I really feel like they did. They had a lead. Like, if you've got a Puppet Master and a Hag up against a team whose hardest carry is a Ravener, who he was farming very well at that point, but pretty much nobody else was on this team. So, I don't understand why you continually throw yourself against a wall when what you should be doing is saying, we have the late game. Just ward the crap out of the map, let us farm, and we will take this game because Ravener cannot carry as hard as we can. So I don't understand where the mentality of let's go kill everything was, and I think that's what lost them this game because they kept dying. Not just, Rally, Parasite, and Torturer, who, let's face it, they can afford to die a few times, especially if they're playing hyper-aggressive to open space. Puppet and Hag were dying too much. 11 deaths on that Puppet is just, you can't do that and expect to win a game. So, well played there from Tree, no doubt. They were given an opening and they took a hold of it with a vengeance. I mean, they got a ton of farm onto that Ravener, and he carried way harder than I thought he was going to. But at the same time, I think there was some serious misplays here on the side of Hellborn, and I think I've covered that topic quite extensively. So we'll wrap it up here for Game 1, which goes to Tree, and that'll move us